بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. We greet you on this, the 17th day of the month of Rabi'u Thani of the year 1445, the 30th day of October, I believe it is, of 2023, from my Caribbean island of Trinidad with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, a greeting of peace. And we return today to the topic which we addressed earlier, the Quran and the fate which awaits Israel. That was part one, in which we spoke about the link between Pharaoh, the body of Pharaoh, the rediscovery of that body, and what are the implications of the discovery of the body of Pharaoh, which was preserved for thousands of years, as mentioned in the Quran. And then we went to the subject of Gog and Magog and how they are taking the Jews on a ride, and it's the last ride on which they'll ever go. And we identified Gog and Magog as, from the Quran, as those who will bring the Jews back to Jerusalem to reclaim it as their own 2,000 years after the Lord God had expelled them and banned their return. This is from the Quran. We didn't go to Hadith. We didn't go to Tafsir. We went to the Quran, which is absolute truth. This is the proper methodology. And we can go to Hadith, we can go to Tafsir subsequently on the condition that they are in harmony with the Quran. And we identified Gog and Magog as those who control power in modern Western civilization. And we can see that they are now being drawn to the Holy Land. Gog and Magog are coming back to the Holy Land because the American warships and aircraft carrier, and the French and the British, now the Germans also want to be part of it. They're all being sucked into the Holy Land. What they don't know is once you go in, you'll never be able to come out. That's all for enough. And now today we want to go to a second part of the subject of the Quran and the fate which awaits Israel. And this has been dealt with in my book. You see the cover of the book on the screen. The book entitled Dajjal, the Jasad, and Akhiru Zaman. Dajjal, the Jasad, and Akhiru. If I remember, if that's the topic, the title of the book. And you'll see the cover on the screen, inshallah. And this is a subject which is connected with King Solomon. And so Israel should be interested. The Prophet Solomon, Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam, who is also a king. And he is ruling the world. Israel is a ruling state. The holy state of Israel from Jerusalem is the ruling state in the world. And in the Quran, the Lord God informs us of a vision that he had. He saw someone sitting on his throne, and it was something that caused him great distress. He is the wisest of all men, and it's a vision that he could immediately penetrate. Me, I would take years to penetrate this vision and understand it, but not Sulaiman alayhi salam. In a flash, and he's able to penetrate someone sitting on my throne. And he is a very evil being, and the Quran describes him as a Jasad. And he immediately recognizes the implication of this vision, and he makes a prayer to the Lord God, and he asks that no one should be able to inherit my kingdom after me. ربنا اغفر لي وهب لي بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وهب لي ملكا لا ينبغي لأحد من بعدي. that no one should be able to inherit my kingdom after me. And the second meaning, and that there should never ever be another kingdom comparable to mine. And Allah answered his prayer. And after he died, let me repeat it one more time. After he died, because his death is important, after he died, Holy Israel collapsed. So who was that person shown in the vision, the divine vision given by the divine being to Solomon? Who is that person sitting on the throne? Who is that evil being who wants to inherit his kingdom and therefore wants to rule the world from Jerusalem? All that you need is €5 worth of intelligence. That's all to recognize it's the Antichrist. He wants to impersonate the Messiah. He wants to rule the world from Jerusalem so that he can declare, I am the Messiah. And he is a very evil being. That is the vision. That is the vision which was shown to Solomon by the Lord God. And when Allah answered that prayer, then when he died, when Solomon died, the kingdom disappeared, never to be recovered. This Israel is a bogus holy state. It's not a holy state at all. Truth has zero tolerance for oppression. And this is an oppressor. How could this be holy Israel? Stop your nonsense. Now we leave. I think this was Surah As-Sad. And we now go to, where is it? Surah to, I'm mixing up now, I'm too tired. To another surah of the Quran, when Allah speaks about the death of Solomon. فَلَمَّا قَضَى عَلَيْهِ الْمَوْتِ, when Allah ordained maut or death for Solomon. ما ضلهم عن موتي إلا دابة الأرض تأكل من سأته. They did not know that he was dead when Solomon died until Dabbatul Ard, or the creature of the earth, or the beast of the earth, which is in Christian and Jewish eschatology, ta'kulu, consume the minsa of his stuff, minsa'atahu. And when the minsa of his stuff collapsed, only then were they able to recognize that Solomon was dead. And as a result, so long as the Jasad sitting on the throne and holding the staff, and the minsa of the staff is intact, the Jasad is able to deceive them. Who are they? The Quran speaks several times that Allah responded to the dua or the prayer of Solomon, that there should never be a kingdom like mine, that he ordered the jinn, the shayateen of the jinn, the satanic jinn, not the believers, to work for him. And other jinn who were mukarranina fil aswad, who were in chains, they had to work for Solomon, to do whatever he had to do, things for the temple to be molded, to be melted, to be forged. And they had to do this work. And so when Solomon died, Sulaiman alayhi salam, the Jasad sitting on the throne, holding on to the staff, is capable of using the minsa of the staff to deceive the jinn, so that they believe that Solomon is still alive, because they can see him walking and talking and eating and standing and presiding over his court, and they are convinced that he is alive. So then, the minsa of the staff was something which was capable of intervening in time, in the movement of time, and causing time to move forward and backward. Today it's commonplace. You can go on your television set and you can see General Charles de Gaulle. There he is on the screen. He's talking and he's walking. Yes, you can see all these things. People who have died and still they're on the televisions. But at that time, no one thought it was possible. So the minsa of the staff is a capacity of the staff, if you're holding the staff, to intervene in time. And dabbatul ard are creatures created by Allah, who have a capacity created by Allah, which can destroy that capacity of the staff. The minsa, this is with sin. The staff is with sword, sa'a, but this is minsa with a seam. So the dabbatul ard can destroy, can consume the minsa of the staff. What is that dabbatul ard? If you go to the books, the classical books of tafsir, you hear about termites, and they're eating the bottom of the staff. And when they eat sufficient of the bottom of the staff, it loses its balance, the staff collapses, and then the body collapses. That's nonsense. That is nonsense. Now we're talking about a proper and correct interpretation or explanation of the Quran, not nonsense. And so now, this is the explanation of dabbatul. Before we end, when the minsa of the staff is gone, then Dajjal, who is the Jasad, will no longer be able to use the jinn to do his evil work. And that's goodbye to Israel. That's goodbye to Israel. So now we need to answer the question, who or what is dabbatul ard? Something capable of destroying the spiritual heart of the staff. And I have offered an interpretation, I can be right, I can be wrong, that it is the electromagnetic waves coming from wireless internet and so on. But I forgot to mention that after the Great War, with all the nuclear explosions that takes place, I think what the corruption of the atmosphere will be far more, the radiation in the atmosphere will be far more, and that also could be part of that dabbatul ard, which will destroy the minsa of the staff. And when Dajjal is no longer capable of using the minsa of the staff to deceive the jinn, they no longer work for him. And that's goodbye to Israel. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.